CosmicSkeptic, vegan no more. What can we learn from this? Anyone who followed him is likely to be disappointed, but I think this is a great opportunity to debunk the debunker, so to speak, and prove that even intelligent, typically rational individuals are not immune to the well-known cognitive pitfalls that afflict all humans. Disclaimer: some of the things I say are going to be incorrect, some of them are guesswork. I am operating with incomplete knowledge, so I must rely on some assumptions to fill in the gaps. First, let's take a look at his apology letter. It's strikingly vague, a classic sign of BS. Specific actionable claims can be debunked or contested. Nonsense, on the other hand, thrives when everything is kept sufficiently ambiguous. Numerous pseudoscientific regimens make non-specific assertions of detoxing or cleansing without ever specifying precisely what it is that they are attempting to purify. Many supplements market themselves as sources of turbocharged alpha masculine energy, with advertising campaigns that border on the old viral Power First video, yet never clearly define what that entails. The examples are abundant. Similarly here, Alex alludes to suspiciously non-specific health issues that aren't elaborated on or explained in any way. I have no good explanation as to why he wouldn't be specific and detailed with his troubles here, except for one. I suspect it's because he knows those claims would not stand up to public scrutiny. By keeping things vague, he precludes any potential counter-arguments. Now, you might say, that's a malicious interpretation of Alex's motives. You're treating him as a bad faith actor, and that's unfair. Ordinarily, I'd agree with you. I wish I could offer a more charitable interpretation of these events as I attempt to apply the principle of charity whenever possible. Nonetheless, I am struggling to come up with any interpretation of why Alex would keep things so nebulous, especially since quite recently he said he felt perfectly normal on a vegan diet. So was he lying then? Or is he lying now? Or did he, by chance, develop novel, unbearable health troubles in an incredibly narrow, highly coincidental window of time? Either way you slice it, the probability of there being some BS in play seems exceptionally high. Perhaps it is simply a matter of privacy, a concern I understand, and he does not wish to disclose his medical history. However, if that is the case, he must be aware that his silence will lead to precisely the kind of conclusions that I have drawn here. Second, let's talk about motivated reasoning and rationalizing our choices. What would a health-concerned vegan do if they found they have some mysterious health issue that can only be resolved with animal products, specifically sea life? Eating bivalves is the obvious answer. Bivalves have plenty of omega-3s, they're rich in minerals, they've got animal protein, an insane amount of B12 and iron. Basically, all those things people claim they eat fish for, you can get those things from bivalves. If you're leaving veganism for health reasons and seeking a magical nutrient that can only be found in sea life, then they are the most defensible animal product to consume. They most likely don't have any subjective experience whatsoever, and most vegans, I expect, avoid them not because they believe that mussels have subjective experience, but rather because they find them gross or out of an abundance of caution. That is, there's a small chance they have subjective experience, and it's better to be safe than sorry. Except, what if your reason for quitting veganism isn't actually health? Then bivalves are not nearly as convenient as other animal products, and they are not as appetizing. They look like massive blobs of snot, and the sensory experience of consuming them is not much better. Now, if bivalves are deficient in whatever magical meat nutrient, insects are the next most apparent choice, but they have an ick factor and are not as convenient as fish. You typically can't find crooked burgers at your local restaurant. This is why Alex, I suspect, didn't have health concerns in his mind at first. I suspect he started with some other true motive that made him quit, and health concerns were a rationalization that came after. If health were genuinely the reason for his actions, he would be informing us of his decision to consume bivalves, or perhaps weighing the ethical considerations of consuming insects. Instead, we're merely informed that he will be eating primarily, but not exclusively seafood. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe bivalves are exactly what Alex is consuming, and he just forgot to mention this extremely important fact for some mysterious reason. Who knows? It seems to me like the real reason here is taste and convenience. Those excuses might be somewhat understandable if you are navigating ARFID and 7 different allergies and other health conditions, but as far as I know, this isn't the case. He's not some special, unique snowflake. He's a regular bloke with an abundance of choices available to him. Anyway, why is Alex citing health concerns when it's highly unlikely to be the true reason for his actions? Lesson 3. Placebo and nocebo effects. Is Alex actually lying here? I suspect not exactly. Being an analyzed skeptic doesn't make you immune to placebo and nocebo. If you don't understand how powerful these effects can be, let me share a fascinating study. Here's that study's design. Take people who experience side effects from a certain class of medication. Over the next year, there will be 4 months where they take no pills, 4 months where they take a placebo sugar pill, and 4 months where they take statins, in randomized order. Here's what we expect. Real side effects should happen in those months when you take the real drug, obviously, right? Except that it didn't happen. The end result of that study was that 90% of the side effect burden was attributable to nocebo. Think about that. Almost every side effect was effectively an imaginary, self-inflicted problem. Here's the greatest twist. Participants in the study were selected not merely from those who had side effects, but they were people who said that their side effects were so bad that they had to discontinue treatment. I suspect that Alex realized his heart was no longer in veganism, and his mind began searching for a plausible excuse to quit. The thing is, it's effortless to find such excuses if you're looking for them. Suddenly, every sniffle, bad night's sleep, mild indigestion, or day when you feel tired is attributed to veganism. Similar to how the participants in the study attributed all their side effects to statins. As soon as you start paying attention to these things, you can nocebo yourself right into feeling awful. Remember, the patients in the statin study had nocebo effects so bad they didn't want to take medication intended to save them from heart attacks. Now, I don't know anything about Alex's lifestyle or health habits, but I'll be frank. If vegan nutrition is a challenging topic for him, I don't think he's very well educated on the topic of what makes for a healthy lifestyle. Lesson 4. For some reason, there's this common delusion in vegan circles that anyone who goes back to being an omnivore was never vegan in the first place. I'm willing to bet I'm going to see 1,000 comments like that about CosmicSkeptic in the coming weeks or months. And they're all, frankly, some prime grade vegan copium. I know that it's comfortable to think, I'm awake now, I'm an enlightened cosmic super being, I'm never backsliding because I know better. That's a nice, comforting thought, isn't it? That there's this shiny part at the core of your ethics that you can't possibly get worse at. However, people aren't rationality machines or morality optimization machines. We're people, we're fallible, we suck. Thinking that you can't regress as a person is about as naive as thinking that free democratic countries can't backslide into authoritarianism. Moreover, I'd even argue it's dangerous to think that. The kinds of people who think they're invulnerable to temptation, hardship, or irrationality are exactly the type of people who won't pay attention to the chinks in their armor until it's too late. Lesson 5. So why did Alex go back to eating animal products? I think the real answer is some mix of taste, convenience, and FOMO. Fear of missing out. Some of the played-up fears are false. It is simply untrue that we miss out on any key nutrients. However, FOMO is an effective anti-vegan tactic because some things we do miss out on. Operating outside of accepted social norms means that you miss out on certain frictionless, stress-free social bonding events. What I would suggest, however, is that missing out on compassion and kindness is a far greater sacrifice than missing out on socially frictionless barbecues. Lesson 6. No heroes. Alex is vegan no more, and it's yet another lesson that people are fallible, but ideas are bulletproof. Alex's videos and arguments are still valid, even if he himself is no longer convinced. People come and go, but ideas are enduring. You can't be disappointed by the right idea. So remember, principles come first, people second. And hey, last but not least, Alex, if you happen to watch this video, you can feel free to reach out. I'm not a registered dietitian or any such thing, but given that I've been vegan for just as long as you, while supporting a far more demanding lifestyle of someone very into endurance sports and athletics in general, I'd say I have a considerably better grasp of nutrition than you do. I'd be happy to help or even just to talk about any topic of your choosing. If you liked this video, please like, comment, subscribe.